When you think of the Brotherhood of Steel, you likely think of signature phrase ad Victoriam. If you've played Fallout 4 and interacted with the Brotherhood of Steel, you'll know this. It means to victory in Latin. But I recently wondered, where exactly did this organisation come from? Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we will be revealing the origins of the T-60 power armor clad badasses with lasers, the Brotherhood of Steel. But to find their origins, we've got to go back. No, not to the future, but to pre-war America, specifically the year 2076, 1 year before the bombs fell. I'll paint you a bit of a picture. Late 2076, West Tech, a pre-war defence contractor, had made major advancements on their pan-immunity virion project, also known as the FEV, or Forced Evolutionary Virus project. Then, on January the 7th, 2077, the FEV research was moved to a recently constructed Mariposa military base that you can see in Fallout 2. The security team stationed there under the command of Colonel Robert Spindle and Captain Roger Maxson, the team was not told of the recent change to human experiments. In this base, that would become a big mistake. Shortly before the 10th of October 2077, the security team found out that medtech scientists that they were protecting were subjecting military prisoners to the FEV. This prompted Colonel Spindle to have a nervous breakdown, locking himself in his office, leaving Captain Maxson as the only officer able to manage the situation. Tensions were high, and at the drop of a cap, see what I did there, it could devolve into a massacre. But sticking to their command chain, Captain Maxson took the helm and ordered interrogations of the science team in order to mutiny the base, assure justice, and do so without any casualties. This decision was made on October the 12th, when Maxson stopped the killing of a researcher by one of his men. A day later, on the 13th, Chief Researcher Robert Anderson was brought before Maxson, and the situation was explained. Anderson saying that the government condoned the human testing. In response to Maxson's disbelief, Anderson lost his temper and started ranting that he was just following orders. In the heat of their discussion, the captain was forced to shoot him. This established Maxson as the leader of this rebellious unit. 2 days later, Maxson and some of his men went to find the colonel. They briefly spoke through the door, but when it became apparent that the colonel had descended into madness, they tried to get in, and the colonel shot himself. Following interrogations ended in executions, but only on October the 18th, a scientist named Erin Shellman convinced Captain Maxson that it actually was by order of the government that they did these experiments. Then, on October the 20th, Maxson declared his unit split from the government over the radio, but no response came. 3 days later, the world ended. October 23rd, 2077, China nuked the US of A. Fortunately, the soldiers and their families took shelter inside the Mariposa base. After reading safe levels of atmospheric radiation, the survivors left, heading to the Lost Hills, a secure government bunker in the south. By November, the band of refugees arrived at the bunker and claimed it as their own. They had lost many on the way, but finally had a place to call their own. And Maxson began his search for answers, which took him to the setting of Fallout 76, Appalachia, where he found his old friend, Lieutenant Elizabeth Taggarty, whom after joining his rebellion was told this: "Words have power, Lizzie. They build identity. They take on a meaning if you keep using them, even if it didn't exist to begin with. It was the knights and scribes after the fall of Rome that protected what was left of Western civilization. So we are the new knights, and our role is similar. But we'll need more than names. We'll need new traditions, our own, well, mythology, something people can believe to their core." And so Maxson, inspired by the military culture and heavily influenced by most of his organisation now being ex-military units, and thanks to the government technology salvaged, the Brotherhood of Steel was formed in New California. And that is how the Brotherhood of Steel came to be. There are many, many more key things in the Brotherhood's past, but one of the most important was when the different sections of the Brotherhood broke off into their own chapters. In Fallout 3, we see Elder Lyons' faction on the East Coast, which is a lot different from the other chapters, as when Elder Lyons was in command, their goals changed, from the traditional directive of recovering and preserving advanced technology, to a more humanitarian view, setting up Project Purity with the help of the Lone Wanderer, giving the people of the Capital Wasteland clean drinking water, but losing support from the Brotherhood HQ back at Lost Hills. In 2278, when Lyons died, his daughter Sarah Lyons took over, but she was then tragically killed in combat, allowing for scribe Arthur Maxon to assume the position of elder at just 16 years old. He disliked his predecessor's approach to running things, so Maxon, the last of the Maxon lineage, returned his chapter to the old ways. Elder Maxon's chapter re-established contact with the Lost Hills HQ. The new East Coast chapter built a mighty airship named the Prydwen, as in order to take full control of the East Coast, Fallout 4's Commonwealth was their next target, and depending on who the sole survivor sides with, can have different outcomes. In both Fallout 3 and 4, we see the most incredible weapons in the Brotherhood's arsenal, which I think may deserve its own video, but I'll talk about it here too. Liberty Prime. Personally, in some of my playthroughs of 3 and 4, one of the biggest reasons I joined the Brotherhood was due to Liberty Prime, a 40-foot tall pre-war anti-communist nuke-slinging robot. Unfortunately, it was destroyed in Fallout 3 by the Enclave's orbital missile strike.
I die so that democracy may live.
And then in Fallout 4, after being reassembled, it was then destroyed again by the wreckage of the Prydwen landing on it. I think that's all we've got time for today. We'll end with some Liberty Prime quotes for giggles, but thank you for watching. That's it from me. Goodbye.
Accessing dictionary database. Entry. Democracy. A form of government in which the leader is chosen by vote, and everyone has equal rights. We will not fear the Red Menace.
Hit that behemoth with everything you've got.
Probability of mission hindrance. 0%. Warning. Subterranean and Chinese compound detected. Obstruction depth. 5 meters. Opposition. Sand. Gravel. And communism. Embrace democracy, or you will be eradicated.